Cool. All right. Ready?
Ready.
Sure.
All right. Do you want to do an intro?
You'll have to do the intro. I don't know.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know anything about him.
I was gonna say my name.
Oh.
I was like, hey,
okay.
This is Sassapat. I'm
Okay.
Zach.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, and you could say who you are after,
Yeah.
or do you want me to say?
You could introduce.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm new to this.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So welcome to Sassapat. My name is Zach,
I'm James.
and our special guest, Brandon Oleski.
Woo! Woo! Yeah! It's the most claps I've ever got.
Yeah. How about
I don't
that?
believe it.
I like it.
You've gotten claps before.
Come on.
I don't know.
No?
Probably not.
Really?
Probably not in a good way.
Yeah.
Probably get me out of the bar or something. Everyone's clapping. Let's get out of here.
So,
Good.
no one really knows you, but what do you do?
I race dirt cars.
Mhm.
I've been doing it for 3 years. Well, longer than that, but the class I'm in now, I've been doing it for about 3 years now.
Nice.
And yeah, it's still kind of new to me. My old man's been running. He used to race all the time down at Macatech in Hamlin, PA. Well, I think it's like Lake Ariel.
Close enough.
Yeah, but yeah. So he gave it up a couple years ago, and now I'm back.
Nice.
Are you racing his equipment?
Kind of yes and no. I mean, he put the money to get me started. Same number. I wanted to kind of do a tribute to him, keep the same number. And yeah, it's definitely not 50-50, I will say, because it's an expensive hobby, but I put a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely you spend more money than you get back. You know what I mean? With kind of like any other hobby.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But yeah, so that's where I'm at now.
And so your dad got into it. Was he young when he started?
Actually, he started when he was 30, hence the number 30 plus. That's where
funny.
he got his
the number's
number.
30 plus.
Yeah, and he started. That was probably when I was born. I was born in '95, and he's 56, so
Okay.
about 26 years ago, my age.
Yeah.
Which I actually just realized that now, that I was just born when he started running. But yeah, so he started when he was 30, which is not a late start, but like there's kids now that are running at like 14 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
It
just
always
started when I
gets
was
younger.
23.
Yeah,
Always
right?
gets younger.
It does.
Uh-huh.
That's the trend.
And so because he got into it, is that why you got into it? Is that the only reason? Or like, did you race as a kid?
I raced go-karts,
Okay.
but not that long. Like my brother races too, not this year, but he raced go-karts way earlier than I started. And that was kind of their thing. And then I went for a couple years. I raced, and he wanted to race Saturday nights, and that's when I ran. So then my go-kart was gone, and we started spending more time on his car. But it's like one of those things that if you grow up with someone who golfs all the time, like say your dad golfs all the time,
Yeah.
that's what you do. Like you've seen it,
Mhm.
and that's kind of how I migrated into racing. It's always been my life.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
I didn't know that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've known you for a while, but I didn't know it was one
No,
of those
my whole
things.
life, yeah. Well, when I was born, and so on and so forth, it's always been racing. Either friends of mine that have been racing, my dad's friends, or he's been racing. So I've always been at the track. Yeah,
So what do you like the most about racing?
it's the adrenaline rush.
That's a good answer. I'm sure that
Yeah.
would be similar for like Nick, who's like,
Yeah.
you know, just jumping out of planes and stuff. It's like, yeah, there's just such an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, and I was listening to his, like, I don't know, some of them last like 60 seconds or whatever, and it feels like longer, I guess you can say. That's kind of how this is. Like, it could be a 10-minute race. Like, after all is said and done, it's a 10-minute race, and it feels like you've been out there for like an hour. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
That's awesome.
That's the
slows
best
down.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that was one of, go ahead.
I just wanted to like, I wanted to ask what is specific, like dirt racing. Like, what is the, like, can you describe it in like a concise way? Like, what are like the rules? What are the regulations? Like, what makes it like different than other types of racing? That kind of thing. For
Well-
anybody that doesn't know. What it
Well,
is.
there's a lot more like if you watch NASCAR, like obviously it's on asphalt and they're just going around the turns and it's just with dirt you're sliding. There's different suspensions with the rear motors. As far as rules go, it depends on what class you're in.
Yeah.
Like I'm in 602 crate sportsman, so like it's a sealed motor, so it's supposed to be like a cheap alternative because there's like big block modifieds that is like $30,000 motors.
Mm.
But as far as this go, it's supposed to be kind of like everyone's on the same page. I don't know how to really describe it other than it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's on dirt. It's a lot of fun. You know, I
Are there like jumps and stuff?
no,
Or is it- okay.
no. Well,
Flat track.
the way the track's been this year, you'd say there are jumps, but
Yeah.
no, it's just an oval track.
Yeah. Okay.
No shit talking the tracks.
So oval
Alright.
track.
I had to throw a jab in there.
Just one. So I had a question because since there's like limits to the car, like they could only go so fast. I'm assuming is that like a rule if you're in the
Yeah, well, that
You're
is
in-
one of the
you have a-
rules because there is a what you call a chip. So I can only max out at 6,200 RPM, and that's built into the distributor, and it shows like if you were to lift the hood off, it shows what you turned and what your max is set at.
okay.
So like that's one of the things in tech. Like if you're top 5, you pull into the infield. That's one of the things they'll look at is like, what were you turning RPM wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And 6,200 is the max.
And so is there someone that's like, is like, oh, that they have a fast car? Are there certain people that just have faster cars? And I was like, well, how does that happen? You know, how does someone get a quote unquote faster car? If everything's supposed to be like, all right, you could max out all of these things.
Yeah,
Like, how does someone end up with the fastest car? If
money.
okay, well, I was watching some of the F1 series on Netflix, and that's what they said. Like, yeah, if you have more money, you have a better car.
Yeah, it's so like I was saying, these are sealed motors, but the one guy I raced with, he paid all in all, car, motor, everything on the car. He's up to like 40 grand. 40
not-
grand,
Yeah.
and I guarantee the motor is at least like 10 grand. Now, when you buy these motors from GM, it's supposed to be like out of the box like $4,500, maybe cheaper. I mean, that's not. I don't think you get the flywheel. You don't get the carburetor, which is like an extra $1,200 minimum. But that's supposed to be like out of the gate. That's what you're supposed to drive. But if you know a guy who knows a guy who does really great machine work or knows how, you could buy fake bolts online. You know what I mean? Cheater bolts they call them for a couple $100. So if you know someone that could build a motor and get away with, doing a little of this, a little of that, you get a faster motor. It's just
And that's
how-
allowed?
No.
Oh.
But it's like one of those things that if you don't get caught,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's
Like steroids.
it's unfair. Yeah, exactly. It's unfair, but you know what I mean? You could protest, but it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
You either get caught or you
kind of
don't.
low anyway, right? There's not big prizes or.
It's a couple $100 to win. I think beginning of the year they dropped the purse because I don't know. I think they were on like a high from last year because everything. They were like the only track that had full attendance
Yeah.
because like New York State was closed because of COVID, and the other surrounding tracks didn't have a full crowd. But these guys were like, I don't care. Come one, come all. No mask, whatever. And so they made a lot of money last year, and they were gonna do something good for the racers and have a higher purse for everyone. Well, that lasted like 1 week. So like I came in third place the first week, and I got like $900.
Okay.
700. I'm sorry, 700. Second place was 900. And yeah, so it's a couple $100 to win. But like that's what I said when
Yeah.
you spend more than what you make back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you win a race weekly, okay, you win $700, but like you're putting it right back into the car.
Yeah.
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 So,
So
like-
just to support the hobby.
That's what it is. You know what I mean? Like it goes back to like the adrenaline rush. That's kind of like what the the best part of it is.
Yeah. So if you're breaking even, like in the financial end of things,
Oh, that's-
you're getting the adrenaline, so you're still winning.
Breaking even's the best case scenario, but that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
You're in the hole.
You're in the hole.
No matter what.
You know.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
yeah. If as long as I can afford living on my living separately and still pay for racing, I'll still be doing it. You know, because I already have the car, the motor, the rear end, like everything that you need for the car I have. So from here on, that's like just getting started is where the most money gets put in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least 10 grand minimum
Yeah.
to start. If you want to be good, you got to be, and that's not even saying, I shouldn't say it that way. If you want to be competitive, you got to put more money in.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line.
So if you were to start from scratch, like what would you have to get?
First, you would buy a chassis.
Okay.
Now, there's like 3 different brands you can get. There's Bicknell, who's like, they're really hot right now. Their cars are working. Their cars are winning. There's TO, which a lot of people have been getting to start in. I don't know why. I guess because it kind of fluctuates with how they're doing. So, like, TO's not doing that well right now, but Bicknell is. So, Bicknell chassis are more expensive than the TO chassis. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all different. You can't say, like, oh, they're the same as it. They're not. Everything's, like, fabricated differently. It's hard to describe how, but, so you would need a chassis. You need a rear end. Obviously, you need a motor. You need hubs, 4 hubs for front and rear. Wow, this could go really in depth.
That's fine.
Radiator, which is a couple $100. A seat, pretty basic,
Yeah.
but you need it. Shocks.
How much do shocks play a role in how you perform?
Big time.
I would
So-
say because you're sliding so much and having.
Yeah.
Do you do different shocks on different sides rather than front and back? Or like the passenger side, even though you're driving solo, but is the passenger side like stiffer because you're sliding
yeah.
into that?
Now the valving is different on all of them, and I don't even know exactly what the numbers are. I get them sent out, and someone who does all that kind of goes with how the track is, and so the valving's differently and the pressures are set differently. So like on the right rear,
Okay, yeah.
on the right side, you want them a little lower, like say like 100.
Okay.
And then on the left side, you will want like, this is just spitballing, like $125. You know what I mean? Because you're rolling on the right rear, it's different. You know what I mean?
So you're always turning left?
Always. Another left turn, another left turn. But shocks do play a role because beginning of last year, I had just basic Bilstein shocks on. And then we got them sent out to a guy named Mike at Fast Line, does great work. And it's funny because once I got them back, that's when I won my first race.
There you
So,
go.
like, I could sit here and say, like, oh, shocks definitely matter because it worked for me, you know, whether it was just good luck or whatever, but they
take it.
play a role.
All right. All right. So what else do we need?
I
Steering wheel.
got a question.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
What's the like the top speed? Do you?
In a crate sportsman,
Yeah.
track size, you know, pending because, like,
Yeah.
if it's a longer straightaway, you're going to hit you're going to be on the throttle more, but probably like 65, 70
Yeah.
in one of these. A
So
big
what do
block
you-
modified's probably like 90, maybe more.
Yeah.
In
So
that
you're,
same
like-
amount of space, though, on that same track.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
would just
Yeah.
because their motor is like 850 horsepower,
What's yours?
like 420.
420.
Yeah.
That's still.
How big is the track? We didn't talk about that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Or what range? I guess what range? You know, what I mean, like what sizes?
I forget what pen can is, but it's something along the lines like maybe like 3/8 of a mile.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of how they judge a track is
Hmm.
like there's quarter-mile tracks, you know, 3/8, 5/8. It's of the mile. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And how long is a race?
So racing starts at like 7.
Uh-huh.
Then you have hot laps. Now this place I go to has like 7 different divisions, so you could be there till like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Some nights you are.
So is that 7 divisions within the different classes?
Yeah, like
Okay.
7 divisions. I mean, like I'm crate sportsman. There's modifieds.
Okay,
There's
okay.
factory stocks. You know
Okay,
what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
And so you have hot laps. So it's basically like warming up the car, and getting the track in. Then there's the heat races, which everyone has to go through, and usually there's like 3 heats in one division, and that kind of sets up where you're gonna start in the feature, they call it. So say you finish top 4 and top 4 redraw, then after your heat race you finish top 4, you'll pick a number 1 through 12, and that's how you'll start in the feature. And then after the feature, that's it. That's so like in all that time period though, it's like from 7 p.m. until, like I said, maybe like 2 a.m. or, you know what I mean? There was a night last year where I didn't get on the track till like 1 a.m. I was done my heat races at like 9, and I didn't get on the track till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like falling asleep on the backstretch, like waiting to go out. You know what I mean? It was.
That's weird.
It's a long
does it
night.
mess with you? Is it like detract from your mentality, like going into the race at all, or no?
No, because like
once race time comes, you're just like,
well, yeah, like every time I'm ready to go out, they put you on the backstretch wall. Like I'm nervous as hell. You know what I mean? Like I got butterflies in my stomach. Like until you get out on the track, then it's like, all right, it's go time.
yeah,
Like let's not wreck the car, because I don't want to work on it that much this week. And 2, let's go out there and hopefully win a race.
Have you wrecked it?
Yeah, but not nearly as bad as what could have happened. Now it's always like wrong place, wrong time. You know what I mean? Like you could be running good, and someone in front of you could be running good, and something just happens, and you have nowhere to go. Because it's not like you hit the brake and you just stop. Like you're on dirt, so you're gonna slide.
Yeah.
Depending on how fast you're going, you're just gonna slide and spin, and some way or another, there's gonna be a collision.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like turn 1 and 2. A guy spun in front of me, probably about 2 car lengths ahead, and I tried going underneath him, and like there was another guy trying to go underneath, and then there's a wall,
Yeah.
and like we just all sandwiched together, and like I ran over his front end, which hurt my rear, and that was probably the worst damage I've had so far, other than body panel damage, but that can be fixed with a hammer.
Right.
You know what I
You
mean?
messed up the chassis on that one, or
No,
no?
luckily I didn't.
Yeah.
Just the rear end, which is one of the most expensive
Yeah.
ones on there. Of
The
course.
expensive end.
Yeah, but yeah, it wasn't as bad as we thought, but it was enough to put a lot of time and effort and money into. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we got it done and moved on from there. That's kind of what you do.
Yeah.
You know, you'll cry about it that night, and then next thing you know, you're in the garage tomorrow trying to work and trying to get ready for next week.
Did
How-
it? Good.
Oh, how heavy are they by the end, when with all you, maybe with or without you in the vehicle?
So there's a rule. In my class and the modified class, you have to be weighed 2,400 pounds
Minimum or max?
minimum.
Minimum. Got it.
So like when you go over the scales, if you're under, you're technically disqualified.
Can you just like throw a couple weights in there?
Well,
Do people do that? Just like throw a couple.
I do have weights in there, but it's like we scale the car before we race. Like so, we're down there, say Monday through Thursday, and we scale the car usually on Thursday nights or Wednesday nights to make sure we're gonna be good. With like, we put it so. All right, we say we need 10 inches of fuel to start off the race, and we're gonna end with 4 inches of fuel. So then we set it up to where we have 4 inches of fuel. If it was worst case scenario, am I going to be over the scales and weigh enough?
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
But
'Cause
normally,
you have to weigh in at the end of the race.
right.
Okay.
And normally, like if I see a mud puddle before I get on the scales, I'll go over it just in case. Because like this year, I'm kind of
Pick up a
teetering.
couple ounces of water.
Yeah, I'm kind of teetering. But you'd be amazed how much, like the mud from throughout the night, adds to,
Your
Yeah.
weight,
Yeah.
your general
That's
weight.
which
of
kind
it.
of messes with what you scaled with.
Yeah.
Because like scaling's important.
Because you're trying to get in just at the limit.
Yeah, but even so, like the setup you have when you're scaling is so important for that race. Like the percentages and everything. that like all this other extra weight kind of messes that up.
Mm.
But there's nothing you could do about it when you're at the track.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tune it when you're there, but that's pretty much it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's complex.
And so, how much do you need to actually build a car? You know, like we went through all of the stuff that you need to like actually bring.
A portion of it, yeah.
Yeah, like we went through, you know, like the seat, the
Yeah.
chassis, and all that stuff, tires, whatever. But like, I feel like that's an operation just to build a vehicle.
It is. I can honestly say,
So you need like you're saying like equipment, tools,
Well, yeah, part of that.
like a shop space.
Yeah, like I mean, I know you have a shop space that
Yeah.
I've seen pictures, so it's like a pretty large garage. It seems large. I don't know.
yeah, I'm
Maybe-
fortunate to have that because I know some guys who are working in tight quarters.
Yeah, like backyard.
Yeah,
Like in
yeah.
a
There
tent.
are people that do that though. Like they don't have a garage to put in, so they'll just prop a tent up, maybe cover it during the week,
Right.
take it off when they're working on it. But were you talking as far as money?
No, I meant just maybe like equipment and stuff like that because. I mean, not that I'm gonna get into it, but it's
You
just
thinking about it?
No.
I got a car for sale.
All right, maybe. Maybe if this episode does really well, I'll have some money.
So you're on your second car.
No, this is my first car.
Oh.
But my brother has a car. He's not racing this year, but we have 2 cars in the garage right
Yeah.
now. But as far as like tools, you don't need a crazy amount. You just need a couple of wrenches, a gun with the socket on it to take tires off.
Yeah.
Mostly like 3/4, 15 16ths. You know what I mean? A couple 9/16ths in there.
Have you ever had engine
That's
problems?
pretty simple
Actually?
set of tools.
Like engine troubles that you have to like ship it out or do anything
No.
or do anything with the engine at all. You're just like, oh, I got an engine, plop it in.
Luckily, we haven't any problems. The
Really?
carburetor I have now, that's like one of the things people always struggle with. Like you could buy a carburetor and it isn't working. You know what I mean? And people get them sent out and this and that. And that's also something that's in the rules. Like you need a 650 carb. Like they sell 750s. But I haven't had any issues. Honestly, the motor hasn't been overheating. There hasn't been any complications with the motor I have and anything else with it. So I'm kind of fortunate on that end because I know people who struggle week in and week out trying to get the car going. My brother did actually last year. He was having carburetor problems. It just makes for a bad night,
Yeah.
then a bad season. You know what I mean? When you have a couple of weeks like that, you're just miserable.
How
Yeah.
long is the season?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably not that long considering where we live. You
No,
know?
we started about 3 weeks ago. Obviously, with the last 2 weeks on Fridays, it's been raining.
Canceled.
Yep.
Mm.
And up until September,
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good run.
it's not bad.
And is it every Friday?
Yeah, there's a couple nights we're off this year, but other than that, it's pretty much loyal Friday nights, and that's pretty much it, unless something happens or something gets canceled.
Is it always the same drivers every week?
Mostly.
So it's like do rivalries build like throughout the
Yeah.
season and like carry on year to year and stuff
Well,
like that?
you know who you're. I don't know. This year, I'm really trying to contend for points because it's all points.
Mhm.
At the end of the year, it's a battle for the championship, whatever. And so, like this year, I'm hoping to be in contention for the championship. But yeah, there's some guys that you know are good, and you just want to beat so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a few guys on my list, but
Does it get heated at all?
some nights,
Yeah.
but not. I've never had any issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless someone purposely wrecks you
Mm.
and like damages your equipment, that's like the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there has been a lot of problems last year. Not as far as me, but some drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People clash.
Well, what makes someone a good driver? Or what makes someone, you know, if you have a scale and you have a couple guys that are going to be top 3, 4, 5, whatever, and then there's guys that are always at the bottom. Like, what's the big gap between the two of them?
Where you finish?
I know that, but what makes them a good driver, though?
Like
Just being able to, like, in the heat races, there's usually like 3 separate heat races.
Okay.
9 cars in a heat. You know, lately everyone's been qualifying. I think they start like 26 cars. But like, if you're in the back of the heat race, the difference between the guy who's running up top and the guy who's running the bottom, that guy can make his way up in top 3, top 2, maybe win the heat. The guys who normally stay at the bottom, they don't really go anywhere.
It's hard to.
And driving has a lot to do with it because you can overdrive this car so easily and just lose all momentum and just not go anywhere. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's not like you just hop in
finesse it.
Yeah, you do. It's not like you just hop in the car and be like, all right, well,
Go fast.
I'm gonna win. Yeah, it's so much more complicated, and I learned that when I first started because I used to spin out like every other lap. Not I wasn't used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this thing's a little beast, and like eventually you learn how to maneuver the car because there's a lot of counter steering. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of entry and exit. You know what I mean? And you're like this close from another car.
Yeah, you're a foot
You
away.
know what I mean?
If,
So,
if
yeah.
not less,
And you're full throttle in the turns. You know what I mean? It's like,
going sideways.
yeah.
So
But, like-
everybody's just drifting together around the turns.
Yeah,
kinda.
that's basically it.
Yeah.
And you're
So
hoping
there's like
you're-
some coordinated effort happening.
Yeah. So like a good driver, you're not worried about it. Like
Yeah.
you're just racing.
Mhm.
But like if you're trying to get past someone who you know is like iffy,
Mhm.
it's like something bad could happen.
Yeah, you're kind of watching out of the
You
corner
are,
of your
yeah.
eye.
You're kind of watching how you get around them and you're taking your time because, you know, they might see you in panic and then boom, you're in the wall.
Yep.
You know?
Doesn't take much. I'm assuming it doesn't take much to
Not at all.
kick things over in that way.
Not at all.
So you're about to start telling us a story before the podcast started about your first race and how that was an interesting night.
Yeah,
Care
it
to
was.
delve into it.
Well, it was July 3rd last year. And so, like, they had fireworks that night. And that was a huge complication. We waited all night. And, like, there was fog rolling in. So, like, they're trying to speed everything up. So, usually it's a 25 lap feature. And we were down to 20. Track was super wet. And, so I got the lead on, like, lap 7 or whatever. And I'm going 2 laps to go. Well, first of all, pull up the video if you could. Yeah, no,
That one, not that one.
Not this one. Not this video.
type in Pencan Speedway.
All right.
That way you can get a visual of when I'm talking. Because, like, I almost spun out when I was leading the race. And so, like, I kind of just hit parts, like, I just got over my fear a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 laps to go, there was a caution. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, here we go. About to win my first race. There's a caution. I'm going to lose now. But it was so foggy, and my helmet blower came out from the top of my helmet.
Mhm.
That blows in. No, it's actually. Hold on. It might be on my channel.
Making me work for it.
Don't worry about it if it's
All
too
right,
complicated.
Moving on.
But my helmet blower came. So my helmet's like fogging up, and like
Yeah.
we're going around ready to start single file, and so I just put it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm facing like dirt,
There's no
cold
there's no
air.
wind, there's no
There's
windshield.
nothing. My visor's up and
Yeah.
it's fogging up, and so we went around. White flag goes, and I go into 1 and 2, which is that corner right. No, it's the next one going down, and he gets underneath me, and like we're side by side, and in my head, I don't even know how I was thinking this, but I was like, I'm gonna lose this fucking race. You know what I mean? Sorry for the language.
No, there's no.
I don't know if this is PG or not.
No,
There's no
not
rules.
PG.
And
It is not fucking PG.
We don't believe in fucking rules.
so then we going down the backstretch. He gets back. He gets into me, and I go into a turn. I come up high. He's down low, and he almost beats me at the flag stand. I got him like literally by feet. But like the whole thing of that was like the helmet blower came out. All things are going wrong. There's a caution with 2 laps to go.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The fog's rolling in. It was just a lot of worst case scenarios were happening. But luckily I came out with the win that night. That was the first win.
That was your first win.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was fun though.
How many have you won?
2.
2? In
Yeah.
3 years? You said 3
Yeah,
years you've been
first
racing?
year I got like second place was my best finish. I don't know how. And then last year I had 2 wins. One on July 3rd and one like August 15th, I think, like a month later.
Yeah.
So it was good. You know what I mean? 2 wins in a year isn't bad.
Yeah, up against 26 other
Yeah.
people and
There's a few top
some
competitors.
guys that are winning a lot of it, right?
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun.
How about this year? How many races have you had?
Just one.
Just one so far?
One. I got third
You
place.
placed. Cool.
But like that's actually this race right here. I started outside pole, and I just didn't have anything. We made some changes for this upcoming week, but the car just had no side bite. That's another thing that comes into play is like setup.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be a major factor in kind of. I'm assuming the track's different every week, even if it's. You know,
Oh, yeah.
if you're in a drought or something and there's no moisture,
Yeah.
it would probably run a little differently. A little.
Well, a dry track. Both nights I won, it was like a heavy track. You know, a lot of moisture in the track.
You're a mutter.
Yeah. But like dry tracks, I can't seem to figure it out. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but I don't have great nights. And it's usually like now, June, July, that's like the hottest. That like, and it's so dusty. Like last year, there was a few cases where you almost had to just pull off the track because you couldn't see.
Yeah, you're just.
It was bad. You know what I mean? And that's not how it should be. But
Are there any lights on the vehicle?
except the ones right there on the gauges, but no.
Okay. I was gonna say
No
there's-
blinkers.
Yeah. Nothing. I didn't know if there was just like a light one light in the back, one light in the front, just so you could maybe see in the
No,
dust.
some people do put them on the roof though,
Okay.
but that's driver's choice.
And then the gauges are there just what is it, just like RPM miles per hour and that's it? You just get 2?
No miles per hour.
Oh, okay.
There's a tack that shows you what you turned on RPM wise.
Yeah.
There's the water temp and the oil temp. Those are like 2 main factors. You don't
care
want
about the
you don't want to
rest.
overheat. And if you see the red light come on, you got to pull off because you're about to blow a motor. That's what that means.
And we don't want that
You do not want the red light.
because that's very expensive.
Yeah.
Is that the most expensive thing? Just the motor, or is it what is it? The rear?
Well, the motor's got like a combination of things because, like I said, the carburetor.
Yeah.
Like the motor's one thing, but you got to buy all these extra parts to go on the motor, and then you got to buy a carburetor that goes on the motor, which is like an extra $1,200. You know what I mean for a good carburetor. So I'd say it is. A rear end could run around like $3,000.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It
That's
is.
enough.
I mean, like anything else, though, you can find everything for cheaper. You just don't know what you're gonna get.
That makes sense. And so how, when you're building the car itself, you know, obviously the motor's not exactly light. Do you have the thing you could just lift up a motor with and move it around?
No,
or-
we just get 6 of us and we
Okay.
just
I don't know. You could.
no, we
See, I
I
we
don't know how heavy they are.
no, it's kind of very precise.
You can get a hoist at Harbor Freight though, probably.
Yeah, we
That'll
have
kill you. It'll kill you.
yeah,
You're taking a chance.
we have like one of those where it lifts up the engine, drops it in slowly, and it's kind of precise because you'll have the tranny in,
Yeah.
and then there's like I forget what it's called, but it blocks the cockpit from the motor, and like the
Like a
tranny.
firewall?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know why I can think of firewall, and there's like 4 bolts that the tranny goes into, that the motor has to connect. So like when you're dropping it, you have to be precise and kind of just once it clicks, then you're good. Then you can just let it go and it'll hold.
That's
But-
interesting.
Yeah.
I figured you'd have to have that, but it was. I feel like that's like if you're gonna work on a vehicle, you have to have something to hoist up the engine. Like that's like.
Yeah, well, my dad's always has that because he used to be a mechanic. So like he's actually the brains behind this whole operation. Like I take no credit because like he takes everything he learned from the modified, and it's kind of like the same thing setup wise, but you know he's just a smart man with this stuff. You know I give him a lot of credit for the wins I got.
How was his career?
It was good. Forget how many wins he had. Probably around 8 or 9. But it was good. He had a lot of fun. He contended for a couple track championships. in his early stages, and then it was kind of like mediocre
Yeah.
towards the end. And then we had someone drive for us, and he was contending for a championship, and like I think he got like 4th or 5th. But that's my goal: surpass him in wins.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I'll be a little satisfied with that.
You gotta beat the old man.
Beat the old man. That's it. Beat my brother and the old man.
I feel like beating the brother would be even better. How
Yeah,
many wins does he have? Oh, you already got him beat.
you got him beat right now.
Oh,
You're way ahead of the game.
Uh,
Oh, I can't tell in the video, but is it an automatic or a manual?
Well, it's just low high gear.
Okay.
So like when you're going out, like right there, you could see there's the wall, but you can't see it from here. That's where you stage,
Mm-hmm.
and then you hold the clutch in, probably at like I don't know, 3,200, maybe less, and you're just in low gear, and that's how you're driving is with the clutch, and then you pull it up. I'm sorry, you're at like 1900,
Okay.
and you get up to like 32, and that's when you slap it into high gear.
And then you're just in high gear the rest of the race.
Yeah,
Okay.
unless obviously if you crash or anything,
Yeah.
it kind of just
Okay.
shuts it off for you. But
So that's like kind of a hybrid between an automatic and a manual. Like, because once you start, you're just like, all right, we're just in this
Yeah.
gear.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Honestly, that was not what I expected.
yeah, I didn't
there is reverse in it too.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. I feel like
Yeah.
that would be a somewhat
It's
necessary.
like all in the center of you. It's like underneath you.
Even the high and high low.
That's the high low. Forward is low, middle's neutral, and when you slap it into high, it's it's underneath you basically.
Huh.
And then the clutch is on the side.
What about practice? How do you practice?
Are we talking about practice? You never hear that?
Yeah.
Allen Iverson?
Yeah.
What?
I didn't know if he
He knows what you're talking about.
I know exactly. So
I-
so it's funny in our 4 Cents podcast, Andy and I like added that clip in for one episode. We just like kept throwing it in. Like, practice? Talking about practice? Practice. I mean, he said it like 30 times.
Yeah.
What is it?
Allen
What?
Iverson.
Oh,
It was a interview with Allen Iverson, and it was talking about practice, and he was just like,
Well, he
he
like
didn't want to talk about it.
no.
no, there was something going on with him, and he didn't want to talk to the media.
Yeah.
And he had things in his life going on, and the media was like, "Oh, you're not going to practice," blah blah blah. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Practice? We're talking about practice right now, not games. Practice." And like there was a huge deal over
Yeah.
it. But
And it's one of like the most
iconic,
iconic
AI
basketball clips.
yeah.
That's funny.
But there's practices in the beginning of the year, but we kind of opt not to go to them.
You can't practice you can't you don't have a track to just
No,
drive on.
that's the dream too. Own a track and just be able to go out there whenever.
In your backyard.
Yeah,
Do the top contenders have tracks?
no,
No, nobody has tracks.
no.
I mean, that makes sense. That's kind of ridiculous to even.
Yeah, I
question
feel like
that,
that's to
I
be a
guess.
lot of upkeep. You'd have to be
And you'd have to have
Loaded.
a shit ton of money.
You'd have to be loaded. to even
Well,
pull it
last
off.
year they were having like towards the end of the year, they were having like practice sessions. Like you could rent the track out.
Mhm.
It was like $100. But the problem with that is they're not keeping up with the track on like a normal race night.
Yeah.
So it's just dusty. Like
Mm-hmm.
what's the point?
They
In my
usually-
head,
They
what's the
usually
point?
wet it all down.
Yeah. There's a lot of track prep that goes into keeping a dust-free track, which is almost impossible because it's on dirt.
Mhm.
But there's like a science behind it that you could. Like this night wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too dusty based on the video we're watching.
But like if you're probably like 5 or 6 spots behind me, it's gonna be a little more dusty because you got all this traffic.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm so far back because I didn't want the dust.
Yeah, right. That's why. Good excuse. Good excuse. So are you like a NASCAR guy, F1, either one? Do you like either? Do you watch?
I've watched the F1 on Netflix if that
Yeah.
counts for anything.
I just started it. That's why I was like,
It's really interesting, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
I don't watch it religiously.
either?
No.
Okay.
I'm in like a NASCAR pool.
Yeah.
Like I put money in and like I bet for a driver. Like I'm in 3rd place right now, but I don't watch.
Okay.
Every now and then maybe if it's on. But I also don't have cable at my house. I just stream everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's not. I can't relate to it as much as I could with dirt. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I love racing. Don't get me wrong, but NASCAR bores me to death. You know what I mean? It's just
Fair enough.
puts me to sleep
Me too.
sometimes.
Yeah, we're all in agreement.
Like if you want to take a nap, just watch NASCAR. And, you know,
That or some golf.
but they did race on dirt this.
Golf will put you
Oh
to
yeah,
sleep.
golf will put you to sleep.
It'll relax you to sleep though.
Yeah, golf
It's like,
relaxes
it's not
me.
quite the same.
Yeah, it's
a
not
little
like
bit different. Yeah.
You're like, what? What happened?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I don't even like going to NASCAR races because the tracks are so big. Like Pocono, have you ever been there?
Yeah,
It's
I've,
just
I've
like,
been in a car on Pocono.
oh yeah,
Yeah, we did that like driving
experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad actually drove one, and we were there. We had to be there for so long that it was like, well, I might as well hop in one and let the guy drive me around for a couple laps.
was he like going full speed?
I think he got, I forget what one. I think my dad maxed out at like maybe 180,
Yeah.
and I think I was in like the 200s.
Oh yeah.
But what I think was so interesting, and it's probably scalable for you because the tracks are obviously much smaller.
Yeah.
But you come around a turn and you're like, oh, there's the straightaway, or like, oh, there's the next turn, and you're there. You're
Yeah.
just at the next turn. You're like,
Yeah.
how fast are we going?
Yeah. And that's a big track.
Yeah, and I think that's the craziest part is like you don't realize how fast you're getting from point A to point B until you're in that thing just
Well, it's like one of those
ripping
things.
around.
Like I'm sitting in the stands, and to me it's like they're taking forever.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you're in the car, it's completely different. Even this, like people watching the stands, it's obviously not taking forever for them, but they're watching from a different perspective. And in my head, I'm like working my arms the whole time,
Yeah.
you know, just trying to not crash at all.
Yeah, I mean, I could see you like the steering isn't just like, oh, you drive straight and then you turn a little
left.
bit.
No,
yeah,
there's-
you're making a left turn, but you're going left, right. Like is it you're going a little right, little left, little
Yeah,
right.
there's a lot of
Constantly
counter steering
adjusting.
in it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Did you just hit that guy?
Not
Or
to-
he just like happened to tailspin like right at the moment you got right up on him.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool. What happens in this race? Do you win?
No, I stay in the same spot.
What are you in fourth?
Third.
Third.
That guy that's in first is the guy with like the $40,000 car.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got-
Cheater.
Ironically enough,
tough to catch.
he's he's sitting
He's
up
the
top.
one. He's the one taking steroids.
Yeah, he's on the juice.
Pretty much.
He's on the
Well,
car.
he doesn't
juice,
own it.
though.
Like they have a team that.
Oh, he's just driving it.
Yeah,
just a driver.
he's driving it for them.
Yeah.
And like this guy is extremely competitive, which understandably so, but he just has the money to just drop into this. You know what I mean? Like bad night, you wreck the car. I guarantee they'll have a new one the next week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
It's irrelevant. I don't care.
their checkbook is open. Ours, like, you know, we wreck a chassis like we described before. Like, I'm probably done for a little bit. I'm not just going out buying a new one. You know what I mean?
Got to save up some cash before.
That's it. You know what I mean? It's next week. I hate saying stuff like this, where's blood? But like something bad could happen. Like I could be done racing for the year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which would be upsetting, but
Yeah.
I don't have the funds to just keep paying for it.
Yeah, and so do you have any other aspirations for where this goes? I know you're saying you wanted to like
He was in my heat.
you
Well,
wanted
that's
to
a
like
really clear video.
It's a different perspective now because
but anyway, you were saying like you wanted to like, oh, I want to have more wins than my dad. Like would you go up in a class, or is there a point where you get to a like you go through all the classes and you're like, oh, I've
wreck.
won all
Sorry.
of these,
um
and then you're like, oh, I got to go up higher and go to a different level.
yeah, it's
like-
just I'd like to go to modifieds, which is like the next class. That's as far as I would go.
Okay.
It's just not until I would make a lot more money. You know what I mean? Because that's
Outside of this,
yeah,
outside of
You-
racing,
in
make
your-
more
in
money.
Outside
your
of
career,
racing.
Yeah.
like
Okay.
in my career as an electrician, I'd like to eventually
Where
Yeah.
are you at in your career as an electrician?
first year apprentice.
First year.
Well,
apprentice.
I just finished my first year, so you basically a second year now.
So your second year in the union.
Yeah.
And you've been an electrician for some time before that?
No.
No.
I
So you
started
just
off-
like jumped
right
to
into
the
it.
union. I took a test there once to join.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like looking for new recruits like a while back. I was probably actually like almost your age,
Yeah.
maybe a little younger.
They were really looking back a little while ago,
Yeah.
and now it's like with COVID and everything. Normally there's like 25 in a class, and like this year we had 12. We had 12, and then someone dropped out, so 11. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough to get in. I don't even know how I got in, to be honest with you. But
You know a guy. You know a guy that knows a guy.
I don't know anyone. I don't know. There's
Maybe
like
you did
four,
well on your test. Did you get your grades back? Did
yeah,
they give you like your score?
out of the test to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it scored like a 6 or 7 out of 9.
Yeah.
That's how they graded us.
Okay.
And then you have to do the interview in front of like the board, contractors. So there was like 8 people in my interview, and it lasted probably about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then somehow, some way,
You got through. You made it through.
my name came up.
Yeah.
But
Where do you work mostly now?
I'm with Urban Electric.
Okay.
They're actually a sponsor this year. Extremely
That's nice.
grateful for that.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I'm up in Gibson, PA,
Okay.
at like a 911 center. That's like
Yeah.
Susquehanna's new 911 center.
Yeah.
And then the last job I was at Pharmacan, which is like the pot place. That's where they're growing all the weed. It's up
Oh,
in
really?
Waverly. Yeah.
Where
There's
is
a
it?
weed place in Waverly?
Yeah. It's
Weed farm?
Indoor?
Is it
Oh,
Indoor.
Yeah.
There's like 5 greenhouses.
No shit.
It's huge. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I had no idea.
But I can't smoke anymore, so it doesn't even matter. And none of
I
it
had
was
no
in
idea.
there. Well, it actually was in part of the building, but they had cameras everywhere. They were in like these containers. They were just starting to grow them.
Yeah.
So, but that was fun. So it's just strictly commercial.
Yeah.
There's some people that go residential calls, but
That's interesting.
yeah, you
Learn
learn,
something new.
you learn a lot.
I've learned a lot about you already. I've worked with you for 6 years, and I had no idea.
Yeah,
Because you were also a part-time bag boy at Country Club of Scranton. Don't forget that.
I was.
Yeah.
I was before I moved up to the big starter job,
Yeah.
but I've been there almost a decade.
Wow.
This will mark a decade.
Yeah.
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 You've been there for how long?
This is my sixth.
You've been there before that, though, right? I think
I
you
was there
left the
for-
year before.
I was there for one summer in 2012, and then I came back as the assistant pro.
Yeah.
I was the bag boy.
I don't know how I didn't see it, because I'm pretty sure I started in 2011.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I could be wrong on my dates.
Yeah, whatever.
I forget a lot.
Yeah, it's all good. And then what was I had another question. I forget. Did you have any more?
I was just wondering. I was kind of wondering, besides racing, if you have any other like hobbies, or you spend any of your free time doing anything else, or if it's like kind of eats up every bit of your free time.
It's kind of where I'm at. It eats
Yeah.
everything up.
Yeah.
Between work, traveling 35 minutes away, come home, I either go down the garage that night. I used to detail cars a lot, which I do every now and then for some members. And, but yeah, that eats up a lot of my time. You know, Friday
Yeah.
nights we're there. I leave work, go to the truck and trailer. We drive up to Susquehanna, and we leave at like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So like we're there, I don't know, from 4:30 on.
Yeah.
So racing starts at 7, but we're there earlier.
Yeah.
And then Saturday mornings, take the car out, you wash it, which takes like 3.5 hours. Maybe
Yeah.
mess around with it a little bit. And then I kind of like to enjoy my weekends. Well, I did until I picked up the job at the country club again.
Yeah.
So now on Sundays, I'm back to work. And then it just repeats itself. You know,
Yeah.
it's like that never-ending cycle.
What about girls?
I have a girlfriend.
You got a girlfriend?
2 years. She doesn't like the mustache, but
it
is what
I
it
don't
is.
think many do.
no,
It's pretty rare.
that's why. That's why I have it. Who
Keep your
at this?
distance this racing season.
Who? Well, that's kind of why I got it. I started this new thing with myself, just me. Last year, I'm gonna run this mustache until I get a win,
All right.
and
Yeah.
it worked out last year. But this year, I'm standing strong on it. So it might not come off at all. I don't know. But
Not that attitude.
2022. might be waiting.
still got the stash.
Yeah.
What do I do next?
Braid it.
My They actually call me, my nickname at work's Hitler, because they say I look like Hitler with this mustache.
It's terrible.
Terrible name.
That's not even true.
No, it's
It
not.
doesn't look anything
like if
like
I
the
trimmed like
mustache.
You'd
each
have to-
side like this, yeah, but
Yeah, even
It's
then.
about 6 times wider than a Hitler
Yeah.
mustache. You're all right.
Yeah, you're fine. You're in the clear, man.
Don't listen to them.
But yeah, so that's the little thing I started with myself.
So what else?
But-
What did you do before, like out of high school? Did you go like right into the workforce or?
Well, I went to Keystone College for a semester.
Okay.
Hated it. I was gonna go down to Coastal Carolina or St. John's, and
What'd you do at Keystone for that semester? Just went to school.
I went to I tried majoring like pre-nursing. That's all
Okay.
they had. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a lot of money. Like fresh out of high school, which I still think people shouldn't make that decision so early. But
I agree.
I think we're all in agreement
Yeah,
on that one
it's-
because I didn't go to Methodist until, like, I went to Temple for 2 years and then I went to Keystone and then I did like everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then I ended up at Methodist in 2012
yeah.
and I graduated high school in 04.
Well, like I didn't dislike trade schools, but like in high school, I'm like, oh, trade school is blah blah blah, like not gonna make any money. But like up until like a year and a half ago, I'm like, wow, I can make a career out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It took me that long. So like to make a decision at 18, it's like, to me, it's like bizarre.
Yeah.
Because
It's
like you
crazy.
could, I know people who've gone through 4 years of college and they're like, they don't even have the job that they majored in.
Yeah, that's very normal.
You know what I mean?
I went to Temple. I started as civil engineering
Mm-hmm.
major. Then I went to pre-law.
I didn't
and
remember.
then-
I didn't remember the pre-law
Yeah,
thing.
I did philosophy with a pre-law emphasis for like maybe a semester, and then I ended up graduating with an advertising degree, and I own my own business as a cabinet maker.
So it's like, never would have expected that at all.
Yeah, not even close.
But
And in between that, I was like a sign maker, professional MMA fighter, worked for a contractor. So it was just like all across the board.
jack of all trades.
Yeah, just like exactly.
Do you
So-
enjoy doing that?
Yeah,
Do you?
I do. I mean, I mean, not at all times.
Right. Well,
There's,
who
like-
does?
Yeah, I
enjoy
mean, I
work?
like building things, and it can be repetitive, and also like business. I'm not really a business person.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about like doing accounting and all that. But yeah, I mean, as far as like any job I've had so far, and it beats the hell out of working for somebody,
Yeah.
working for yourself. And I like to build things, and we get to do cool things. And
Yeah.
I'm staying down at the beach in June to do a job down there, so I get to like stay and
Yeah.
surf
Kind
while
of
I'm there.
vacation,
Yeah.
work at the same time.
Yeah, so I mean, it had like I can't complain. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
happy about it.
Yeah, and that's how long. See, like that's how long it took. I don't know how old you are, but how long ago did that
35.
did that happen? Did you start doing that?
Did I start? I started about 6 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
just. So I went to Keystone, and I was like, I hate this. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
I got my credits, but then over the winter break, I was just like, I'm not going back. But I still was. And then I got a call from the Marines, the recruiter. I was at home sitting on the kitchen table, and like I answered the phone, the house phone, which no one answers,
Yeah.
but I answered.
Yeah.
And here it is, my name's so and so with Marine Corps recruiting, and like he got me. So I was like, oh, all right, like let me go visit him. Let me go pay him a visit and see what happens. And so I went down there a couple times. There's like this program like every Wednesday to work out. I started going to those. I really enjoyed it, and he did a good job recruiting me. I could tell you that.
That's
And
why he was
then-
there.
It's a science.
Yeah, yeah, no, but
I know how to do it.
yeah, he got me. So I ended up joining the Marines, and it's
How
probably
long- How long were you in the Marines?
3.5 years. I tore my ACL,
Oh,
and I got out.
yeah.
It was a love-hate, I will say. I was in artillery, which, looking back at it, how does that translate into when you're done? It doesn't. You're not blowing up stuff when you're home. but I was never overseas or anything.
Where were you?
Well, here's the dilemma I've had with my recruiter. So, go active duty, blah, 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 yeah. I was like, yeah, I want to go. I said, I want to go right away. Now, during the time, I was kind of in a little, not trouble, but like not the best path you should be going on. So I was like, I need to get out of here now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he says, all right, you know, you could leave in like 4 months. He's like, but you got to sign up in the reserves. I was like, I don't want to do the reserves. I said, I want to do active. I want to travel. I want to go places. You know what I mean? He's like, no, don't worry about it. You're going to go to training. You're going to go to boot camp. You're going to go to MCI. Then you're going to go to your job school. And when you're done with your job school, call me. He's like, you're going to come back, sign a paper, and you'll be active. Now, I told my parents, backtrack a little bit. They're like, are you sure you want to do this? I said, yeah. This is before he said any of that. I was like, I want to do this on my own. I could do this on my own. 18-year-old me, I could do this on my own. All right. They let me do it. And so fast forward, I'm like, all right, I guess. Like, I'll do all this and worry about it later. Like, kind of what you do, you know what I mean? Like, I'll just dive into it and worry about the rest later. And so I did that. I did very well in boot camp. I did great in MCI. Job school was pretty good. And I called him 2 weeks before we were about to graduate. I said, listen, I'm coming home. What do we do? Well, it's not that simple. I'm gonna have to call the place you're going to in Allentown, and then they need a guy to replace you because the reserves are so limited on numbers. I'm just like, dude, you fucked me. You absolutely fucked me. I was like, now I'm stuck. And so I ended up being in Allentown in the reserves, and I just hated it so much. It was like weekend a month. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you weren't really.
Pay was what? Nothing. You know what I mean? Obviously, because you're only going there for a couple days. And I felt tied down to them. You know what I mean? Like, I can't go and move to like Colorado at the time, and that's where I wanted to move, because I got to report there for 6 years now because it's a 6-2 contract.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where my hatred started. Not with the Marine Corps itself, but like with him. I had a lot of beef with him.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I don't want to do this for 6 years. And then luckily, tore my ACL.
How did you tear it? Were you in
I was actually
training or
no? That would have been nice because I would have got paid for medical leave. But no, I was actually in a flag football tournament, the South Scranton League, whatever, or Scranton Social Club or whatever they call it. And it was like a rainy day. We're down by a touchdown to get into the playoffs. I catch the ball. I twist, like I turn, my knee like planted in the mud, and I turned my whole body, and the knee didn't move with it, and like it just popped. And like from that point on, I was like, fuck, this sucks.
You're done.
So I had to get surgery like 2 months later, down for the count for like 10 months. But that's when I was just like, I'm not going back. Like obviously I went, and I was on like light duty or whatever, but then I told him, I was like, I don't think I'm going to fully recover. You know what I mean?
I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm clocking out, man. I'm sorry. But
And then there were some rules and stuff you had to follow, and I followed all of them, and yeah, I got out, and I was kind of happy and relieved at that. Because like then I was like free to do what I wanted, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of a sad story about the Marines, but
Yeah. We still got the flag up.
yeah, represent.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, boot camp was probably the best.
I've heard that a lot of people really like boot camp.
I can tell you, no matter who you are, you go in this type of person, and you come out a different. And it lasts, you're like real moto for like, I don't know, a good 6 months after that. Like hardcore, like working out. Like
Yeah. Just getting jacked.
Semper Fi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it kind of fades away. Like you're still that person inside, but like as far as like discipline and everything, like it helped me tremendously. And I gotta give them credit for that. They literally break you down into a different person than what you started in. So it was like a good, you know what I mean? I took a lot from there.
Yeah.
So.
And so what'd you do right after you were, because if you were only doing that as a reserve, what were you doing in the meantime?
Working.
Okay.
workforce. I was working at a school for special education, which I loved, and the country club.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember you being at the school. I just didn't know when that all met up with the Marine part.
well, that like kind of after the whole situation, I moved back and I'm like, well, I need a job now. That was supposed to be my job, but now I need a job.
Yeah.
And I got into NEIU as crisis, which kind of deals with the problem kids.
Mm-hmm.
And like if there's scenarios of people fighting, I'll step in. It was like a cool job.
You're like the school bouncer.
Basically. There's a couple of us.
Yeah, my mom used to do special needs. I don't know exactly what her title, like what her job title was or anything, but she had some guys around that
Yeah.
could, like handle
Yeah.
certain situations.
I love
Some of the kids are like very
there's some
strong, and
Yeah.
also not well behaved children.
No, that happens a lot, and I don't want to get into all that, but
Yeah,
there's a lot that plays into that of why that's the case. You know what I mean? I've met a lot of bad parents.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
that's
know.
probably pretty typical.
Yeah, but I loved the kids. That was. If I could go back and make more money, I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because it's a good time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You might be wrestling with the kid, and they might be slapping you around like these little kids who got all this fire in them. But like at the end of the day, like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're not mad at them.
No, you can't be.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to help, buddy.
Yeah.
Just trying to help.
That's it. So yeah, the workforce is kind of where I've been on that and kind of stayed into. That's when I decided to step up into an electrician and make a career out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, how did you end up, like, what got you into the, I guess, what got you in the door at the union? Did you see, like, an advertisement, or?
A couple buddies of mine from high school went in, and like they've always like Snapchatted me or like told me about it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then, I don't know, it was like one of those days where I'm just like, why don't I try going to a trade school?
Hmm.
And then like I read up on them, and then I heard you need to take a test, and I was like, well, let me just take the test. If I get in, I get in. If not, I'll move on to something else. And yeah, so I applied there and everything worked out. But it was kind of like I need a career.
Yeah.
I was at the school. I was at the highest level I probably could have gotten, aside from like being an administrator or something like that with minimal college education.
Right.
Yeah, which
Now-
would be, like, a long shot.
Yeah, like there's no benefits.
Mhm.
There was when I got the contract, but
Yeah, my mom was a teacher, and she never made, she was just, like, making supplementary income, really. She never
Yeah.
made, like a livable
Yeah, you live
wage.
happy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
like
yeah,
a teacher would make obviously way more than I would
yeah.
at the job I was at. So I needed something to one, fund the race car,
No,
and two,
but the IBEW will.
oh yeah, they definitely will.
They'll get you, because you
It-
get benefits and you get good pay.
Yeah, you start off
But-
obviously like
Yeah, you gotta work your way up.
you
It
know
probably doesn't take that long, though, especially if you're good.
5 years.
It's just like a set.
That's it.
That's how long it takes.
First year you need 2,000 hours. They start getting second year pay. You
Mhm.
obviously need to finish the school, and then second year through fifth year you need 1,500 hours. But there's like hands-on tests and everything that you need to complete.
Yeah,
But it's a learning experience. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I went in not knowing anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask if any of the working on the car aspects helped at all.
Not at all.
No,
Nah.
not a little.
There's electrical in the car,
I was gonna say that it's got to be. I know
but I
there's
never did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Before that. Never did
So
it.
you don't know you don't understand the circuitry yet, or well, now you do. You've been
A
here
little
for
bit. I
while.
do know a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say I do now because like I'm still learning a lot.
Yeah.
But
Is it paid interest? You get paid to apprentice?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
And
it's
you're
like-
working while you apprentice.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're working. They set you up with a contractor, and like you get paid first year rate,
Yeah.
and then so on and so forth, and hey, you just work your way up to a journeyman. That's where the big bucks are.
Yep.
So
How far is Oliver?
what's he do?
He's in the carpenters union.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He built scaffolding up at the power plant in
Jessup?
Jessup. Yeah, I guess it's Jessup.
Oh,
Up
yeah?
up on the Casey Highway.
Yeah.
that.
He's been doing that for a couple of years.
He's been there for a while, probably.
I'm sure he's
Yeah,
pretty far
5.
then. I don't know how their schooling is though.
That's true. And what
He's
is
like a-
do you have to travel for the schooling, or is it usually
There's like
around-
an area for the IBW, like Local 81. That's what we're in. So like the furthest I could probably go if we have a job out there is Sayre,
Okay,
which is like
but I meant for the actual class.
45 minutes.
oh
north.
no,
What?
that's like one of the benefits of moving up here. It's was it Skyline Drive
Okay.
off the Morgan Highway?
Oh, right off Shady Lane.
Yeah, Shady Lane. That's I don't know why. Oh yeah, Shady Lane, and then
Yeah.
Skyline's the
Off there.
like
yeah.
where Noto is.
Yeah.
Right next to it's the training center.
Oh yeah, that's convenient.
Of real convenience.
Now that you're in the summit too.
Yeah.
Even closer.
I feel like Gillen was mopping the floors there for a while with his cleaning company.
Oh, you may
I
have.
think he was.
They do have a cleaning company, so probably.
Maybe. Interesting.
I think
Small world.
I helped him actually one time. Just randomly, I don't know why, but
Yeah.
it's ringing a
Right.
bell.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Stretch there.
That's my life.
Nice. Any other questions?
I don't know if I have anything specific. I don't know if I have anything like specific. Yeah, I don't know. Do you?
I just think it's the whole idea of building a car to me is like the coolest thing in the world.
You can come down whenever.
I know.
If you ever want to stop down the garage, by all means.
Yeah, I might take you up on that offer because I'm like fascinated by it.
Yeah. I mean, luckily it's been, unless we're changing like a little of the setup, we don't take much off the car. But like definitely in the off season, the car's torn apart. You know what I mean? Motor's still in, unless there's an issue. But that's the best time because you see the car's like anatomy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot that goes into it.
How does it compare to like it's just a regular car on the road, like in terms of like complexity and amount of parts? Is it much simpler?
Much simpler.
Yeah.
Well, there's no like AC. I'm assuming
Well,
there's no
Yeah,
air
no.
conditioning.
Like
and-
once
and all
once
the
you get
no
familiar
sensors.
with it, it's kind of like, to me, it's like 3 main parts.
Yeah.
You know, the front axle, the rear end, and everything that goes into the cockpit. You know, your brake bias, your clutch, the tranny,
Mhm.
the seat. If you have to move it, it's like a real complication as much as because you need it a certain way.
You
But
said the seat.
yeah,
Of all
yeah.
things.
There's been hours on the seat trying to get it exactly where I feel comfortable, and that it's like appropriate height, and you know what I mean, like
Uh-huh.
just a lot of measurements and stupid
funny.
stuff, little things.
That's so funny. That was like.
A lot of hours, too many hours, I should say. But yeah, that's kind of how I break it down, and then like I get the car lettered every year, so far, which I think is. If I keep the same sponsors, I'm not gonna buy another body.
That makes sense.
But
What if you add sponsors? Do you just like slap it on somewhere?
I don't know. It depends. Like if Urban sticks with me another year, then I'll keep it because they have the whole right side of the car.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What's the better side? I guess the right side, since the outside
Fans.
the fans could see it.
Yeah.
How many fans are at these things? Obviously, last year, no.
Last year there was
probably
like
more than
2,000,
that's a lot of
a
people.
little more than that.
Is that normal?
That's like there's like a short track super series that Scott Brett Dale runs. That's like all the main modified drivers. That would be pretty normal. But like a regular Friday night at Pencan, it's a lot of the community, a lot of families. So they should be happy with like 1,000. But like I said, last year was so popular because they were the only track open.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That were accepting fans.
that makes
Like-
sense.
5 miles down the road, there's 5 Mile Point Speedway, and they didn't have any fans because it was in New York State. And the governor was like, not going to happen. But, yeah, 2,000 is pretty good. Busy nights. Popular nights, like memorial races or anything.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
More fans. I mean, you got to pay the purse.
That's true.
It's
So
30
is that how they break it down? Like how much you get paid is just how many people show up?
There's a steady payout.
Okay.
But like I said in the beginning, that like our first week we got paid a lot. Wasn't that many fans in the stands, and like then they're like, all right, we can't afford this.
Yeah. That was a one-time deal. Sorry.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, we thought we were getting the same fans we got last year, but
It's not going that well.
So, yeah, I mean, it's $35 a guy to get into the pits. You know what I mean?
That's for you guys.
Yeah. So like, if
how
I
many people
bring
are on the crew.
5 people, it's $35 a guy, and think about how many cars there are and people that come with them. So that pays a lot into the purse as well.
Right.
You
Each
know what I mean?
team's entering like somewhere around $180 or something
Right.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A truck full of people.
And how do they like up or maintain the arena? You know, how do they maintain the track and the like? Because there's obviously a decent amount of stands that are just out in the open. Like they're.
I guess they have employees
Yeah.
that I don't know how it is up the stands, but it seems like they're doing a good job with that. They probably have someone clean up.
They're paying for it with the attendance.
Right.
Right. It's
Yeah,
like, I mean,
I would
how much
think.
does it cost to watch?
I think like $15.
No,
We'll
that's
have
not
to go.
bad.
We'll have to go watch.
Yeah. Bring,
Definitely come up.
bring a video camera and we'll videotape some of it.
Come up this week. It's gonna be a good race. Starting out front.
Are ya?
I
What
think
time's
so.
the race at? It's like probably not till
7.
late, right? Yeah.
All right.
No, but
I got
it's usually
I got
Friday
plans
nights.
this Friday, but
What'd you say?
I said I got plans this Friday.
No, I know.
No, not this one, but
Not
maybe
this Friday, but I would like to come though.
Yeah,
I'd like
no,
to watch
definitely.
it.
The goal is to like go to different tracks.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, do they have like a state championship or
No, like a wrestling where everyone.
yeah, like or
Yeah.
yeah, anything where it just kind of
Yeah, like each
the
track's
state of
championship.
or like the
Yeah, no.
northeastern part of the country, you know.
No, there's like I was saying before, this guy that Brett Dale runs the short track super series. He has like, you know, say there's like 15 races for the year in the northern region. That is like combined in all these different tracks you race at, counts up for points for one major championship. But there's nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's about as close as that would get, as far as like everyone combining for a championship. But I want to go. There's a lot of nice tracks in the area though.
How far?
There's Big Diamond in Minersville,
Okay.
which is like an hour 15.
Yeah, that's not too far.
Grandview Speedway, which is in like Belchersville, maybe like an hour 45.
Never heard
That's
of
a really nice track. 5 Mile Point, but I'm not gonna say anything more about them.
it. Moving on. What makes a track nice?
Clay
How good
surface.
how good the like do they
That's
have to,
what I look at.
do they import it or like where do they bring in this dirt in from? Is it like a special dirt?
Clay.
Yeah, or wherever the clay
Clay
is.
like holds moisture.
Yeah.
That's like the best part about it. And like if you go to Big Diamond, like I recommend if you ever do go to a race, go to Big Diamond because
No,
you'll
I'm
see
gonna go
it.
to your race.
Yeah,
Diamond's
I don't
got
know anyone
real
at Big Diamond.
clay, which I'm assuming they get from like South Carolina or
I'm
something.
going to watch 30 plus.
That's it. And if I win, you could come down and get photos.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'll
But,
bring a buzzer so you could shave your mustache off too.
No, oh yeah, if I do,
That would be ideal. An
Yeah.
ideal situation.
like
Will your girlfriend be there?
yeah,
She'll be my.
she
biggest
comes
fan, I think.
every Friday.
Cool.
Surprisingly
That's
enough,
nice.
yeah, she supports it.
Cool.
Does she help with the
No,
Okay.
She's in the stands, or is there like a VIP section?
not really. Just
No.
there's the pits, and then the grandstands. You know
So
what I mean?
She's just in the grandstands.
No, she's in the
she
pits.
Oh,
Oh,
she
she's in
comes
the
in.
pits.
Yeah,
She's got to pay that
she's
extra
not turning
20.
wrenches, but she's down there.
Yeah.
I give her a lot of credit for dealing with that.
She's got to pay that extra 20.
Yeah. Well, I gotta pay that extra 20. I mentioned the car was expensive, but getting in alone is expensive. Man, it yeah. She's good with it. You know what I mean? She comes every Friday. You know what I mean? She
Cool.
takes off work, and
Nice.
so I commend her
Oh
on
wow,
that.
she takes off work every Friday.
Yeah, well, she works at the country club too, so
Oh.
she's in school still.
Okay. So it's
But-
lenient.
Yeah, it's not a career.
Yeah. Cool.
Not yet. But yeah, a lot of support. That's pretty much it.
So if you had to pick do you have like a dream car? Not for racing, just like a dream car that you would say like I just want to drive this car, like this any like badass cars. I know what kind of car you drive, but
Kia.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
Kia Sorento.
the Kia
That's
Sorento.
I want.
I was like-
I want a Kia Telluride. That's my goal. No.
Shout out to
Are
Kia.
you like into are you like into cars?
No,
Like,
not
That's what I was wondering. I was like,
not
all
so
right,
much. You see the post I tagged you in?
maybe.
Is the Bullet?
Oh,
Yeah, it's like got like 4,600 miles on it.
Where
Thinking-
is it for sale?
yeah,
Oh, well, there's one always in the parking lot at the country club.
yeah,
It's a
I know
Bullet.
whose it is.
Yeah, I do too.
The one guy.
Yeah,
It's a Bullet.
it's the green. It's a Mustang. It's a special edition. It's the Bullet. I think that was was it like it was like an anniversary edition too.
Yeah, I remember
one-
when he first got it, you're like, dude, no one can find this anywhere. Like this guy's like the only one rocking it right now in Clarksville.
It's so nice too.
But back to your question, not really. See, I don't go into cars that much. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't think about it because it upsets me when I know I can't afford it. It's like one
Yeah,
of
you
those.
can
just
almost-
dreaming. It's
you
just
know what I mean? It's like-
fantasizing. Yeah.
I don't want to fantasize about it that much because I know I'm not gonna get it right now.
Yeah, I'm not big into cars either. I think if I had a pick though, I would probably pick a Wrangler just so I could have no top and no doors.
Yeah,
That'd be sweet. I would appreciate that.
I'm thinking about getting a truck soon though.
I'm surprised you don't have one. Cause what was your car before? Nissan.
Nissan
Altima?
tinted out, blacked out,
with the long horns.
Longhorn
can't.
symbol. Yeah,
Here, I'll do it with this.
but no, it's this.
I know.
Hopefully-
I couldn't do it on my.
You
I
did-
couldn't do it on my left. I
You did,
couldn't.
you did rock and roll.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm
no, I
not-
don't think so. You just did it backwards, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever.
That's the car though.
That's the Mustang. By
That's
the way.
it.
It's the Bullet.
It's special because of the color,
No,
or like
Well,
everything
part of it
about
is the
it's like
color.
a total like
the thing's a beast.
custom like.
Yeah, it's a
Deal.
very powerful car, and
It
the
has,
thing
something
that
to do with, it has something to do with Steve McQueen.
yeah, I forget what it was about, but the
Just
thing
for
that
the
shocked me was how short that thing is.
Yeah.
It was really low.
Mm.
Like it felt like it was waist high. You know,
Yeah.
and the guy who has it is not a small guy.
Oh, he's a big dude.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like 6'3".
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's tiny. But then there was actually a Lambo in the parking lot pretty recently.
The coolest car I've seen around is that one that was like, it looks like the bat.
Oh yeah, that like Armageddon mobile.
Yeah.
It's all black.
Yeah,
It's
it's
maybe like a
it
dark
looks
gray.
like some sort of crazy like.
I can't think of the
Yeah,
name
like
of that.
it's
but
from
that
our.
was-
It's like 18 inches off the ground.
yeah, it's
And
huge.
It's got these gigantic
I don't know
wheels,
what
but
the
it
hell
also
it-
kind of has like a sports car body. It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like a
pretty
toy
sick.
car. It
Yeah.
looks like a
Yeah.
toy. It's like a
Yeah.
Hot Wheels. Like they just like slap some of those wheels on that
Yeah,
body
yeah, yeah.
and
yeah,
throw
it's like a miniature monster truck.
That's
throw,
awesome.
Throw a light bar on the top and
Yeah, I haven't seen
yeah.
it in a long time, but it was a few years ago I used to see it, or
yeah. I used to
might
see it
have
at
been more
Waverly.
than a
I
few
used to
years
see it at
ago. It was
Waverly
like, yeah,
Deli.
it was like 8 years ago, but
yeah,
maybe 10. But like, yeah, that car's wild. That's really cool.
yeah, I love that one.
What's your dream car?
Dodge Charger.
Oh, you said that before.
I love that thing.
Like a brand
When are you
new
getting
one.
it?
I don't know. When I hit the lottery,
Come on.
Why? How much is it?
like a new one,
Yeah.
probably $40,000 to $50,000.
You don't have to
The one that
win
I
the
would-
lottery
the-
to get that. You just gotta get it. You just gotta make more money.
Yeah, well, that's true.
it's not like a
Yeah.
lottery like level.
No, but I would.
That's
I
pretty
would,
average, like 40, 50.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
but
like
I
a
think
big
it's-
like a new truck, with a
Oh,
couple
new
with
trucks
a
are
couple bells
nuts.
and whistles. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're insane.
Hey,
I've
dude,
even looked at trucks. I was like, oh, maybe I'll just get like a pickup. Like I don't really.
You could
need
even get like a small Tacoma, and it's gonna cost you a
Dude,
fortune.
Yeah,
Tacomas
they-
are expensive.
Yeah.
It's insane.
They hold their value
way
Well, that's
too
the
well.
thing. Yeah.
way too well. Because, like, my buddy at work drives, like, a 2019 Sierra. And they just called him, like, GMC, and was like, he bought it for 31. And they called him and was like, hey, like, we'll give you 29 for it. He's like, no. They called him the next day. It was like, we'll give you 34 for it. Because there's like some shortage of trucks or something.
there's a big
Something's going
shortage.
on.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're like desperate for it.
Used
so he's
ca-
like,
used
dude, I'm gonna get
cars.
$3,000 more for it than what I paid.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Make money on a car.
Pretty much.
GMC, Sierra, you said?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Makes sense.
crazy.
All right, it's
I'm
more
gonna
like
sell my
7.
truck.
Oh, a Hellcat.
Oh,
Okay,
70,
now
I mean,
That
Jesus.
one.
it's not just a Dodge
That's
Charger.
one- Yeah, you got the.
And my problem that I always have with pretty much any vehicle, even if it's one that I think is like gorgeous, like the new one, like the wide body Dodge Charger, I think is great. all that fun stuff. But anytime I see it, I'm like, I still want to make it my own.
Yeah.
I want to modify it. I want to paint it. I want to do something with it. I'm like, I don't care what color it is now. Like, I just want to like do stuff to it.
You know what I would do? I would
I'm just gonna bring a beat up car to the shop to your dad's garage, and it's like, hey, guess what? We're gonna fix a car.
we're gonna do this. He's built a couple motors before. He knows his stuff with cars. This whole electric deal, like these new cars, he's not about it.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
that's why you're going into the. You're
yeah,
gonna be an electrician.
someone's got to step up. I don't know nearly as much as him, and I wish I did. It's like one of those where you wish you paid attention a little more
Yeah.
when you're a kid. But no, he if he was younger, he'd probably be game for that.
Oh, I'm sure.
But like I was
It's
gonna say, instead of painting a car, I was thinking like vinyl wrapping.
Yeah. That like dip. I don't know how cool that stuff, how good that stuff is. That like,
Yeah,
it's like
no?
a spray dipping almost, and you can just like peel it right off.
Yeah,
That stuff's pretty cool.
it was like plastic dip or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some pretty wild stuff they do.
That would. Do you ever see It's on Kaiser Ave a lot. It's an Audi. It's got like this silver wrap on it, but it's like rainbowish. So like
Yeah.
when the sunlight hits it, it's like a different color.
Yeah, I know. I don't know that car specifically, but I know that look.
Yeah, I
What-
drove past it today. I thought it was really interesting.
I've looked at enough YouTube videos on on random cars things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was interesting that like you guys build a car.
Yeah,
Obviously, it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles of a fancy car. Like
Yeah.
even like our cars are just
yeah,
pretty
but
basic
it is
vehicles.
interesting going from like a bare chassis, all the way to what it looks like now.
yeah. I
It's
think
kind of
that's-
like mind-boggling,
yeah.
because there's so many little parts that have to work together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I guess that's part of when I ask like why is a car better than another, like all of those parts really working together as
Yeah.
well as
It's
possible.
like efficiently. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to like make all sorts of like transitions between parts, like with custom like pieces, or is everything kind of like fit together?
Everything's kind of like I have the Bicknell chassis, so like Bicknell sells a lot of parts that go with their car only.
Yeah.
So like if you have a TO chassis, TO has certain parts that only work with that chassis.
Gotcha.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's kind of there's not really much custom on there. It's kind of all parts you gotta buy.
Yeah.
You're screwed with the price anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got you where
There's no like off-brand.
no,
Parts.
not so.
Yeah. It's a small kind of market.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah.
You're stuck with it. You're stuck with it. Either way,
Yeah, they
like once you buy the chassis, you're stuck in their monopoly
yeah.
in a sense. Like you're stuck in their world.
There's some parts that are universal
Uh-huh.
for some chassis, but a lot of parts on my car are Bicknell parts. You know what I mean? So like, not only do they got you with their chassis, but you're gonna need this, and that for it to work.
Yeah.
Properly. It is what it is. It goes down to like the buy-in. Like I said, $10,000 at least.
Yeah.
But
Could you get a used? Like, do people sell their
Oh,
cars all the
every day.
time? Yeah.
every day. I mean, you could buy. The problem I have with this, like, we met this guy in New York. His name was Art, and he brought us up. Looked like a great deal. The pictures he took, great, but it's like with anything, you got to go check it out. So we go check it out, and there's this huge dent inside the chassis, like the 2x4. There's two 2x4s that go on the side. It's like the main part of the chassis. And it's just like dented in, and he bondoed over it. And we asked him about it. We're like, dude, like, what is this? He's like, oh, don't worry about it. Just threw some bondo on it. Just paint over it. We're like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? But he's trying to sell you a $10,000 car with all this damage. And we're like, dude,
The
get
chassis
lost.
was bent.
Yeah. Oh, there was it was like a gouge in it. And he just went over it with Bondo, sanded it, and like it was obvious. And like there's a bunch of other problems. So like you never know what you're getting. You know what I mean? It's with anything you buy, like on the Facebook Marketplace. You know what I mean? Something could look good, but could you trust the seller?
Yeah, you show up and see it, and you're like, oh god, this is terrible.
Yeah, yeah. You took that picture when you first bought it. Now you're trying to sell it used for 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, but there are a lot of stuff you can buy, like for cheaper. You know what I mean?
What kind of tires are on those things?
American Racers.
Are they wider or thinner than, or more? Or are they wider or more narrow than like a normal car tire?
Oh God, yeah.
What
The compound's like a 48
So they're pretty big.
on the right rear, 44 on the left rear, and 33s on the front.
Oh, so even the back tires aren't the same?
No,
Oh, that's so
no,
weird.
because
Everything's so weird about these
because
cars.
then you get into like stagger. So like stagger gets you in. So like when you blow up the tire, say my right rear is like a 93, my left rear is like an 87. That's 6 inches of stagger. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And that matters a lot. Like you play with stagger all the time. So like the more stagger you have, it's easier to get into the turn,
Okay.
but it doesn't create that much side bite in the turns. You know, there's just a lot of scenarios. So like when you buy tires, you don't know what you're gonna get. It's marked like 89. You blow it up, it's like a 92. You know what I mean? So like, and it's like $300 a tire.
How often do you go through those?
Last year, I went through tires like crazy. It was all my country club money. Need a new tire? Let's buy it. But this year, I have 2 sets. I bought beginning of the year.
Okay. Trying to get those to last.
Yeah. Well, if we only had one race, I'm hoping I could get like, at least 3 weeks out of them.
And what goes? Is it the traction part of it, or is
The
it
rubber.
on the?
The rubber wears down.
It does go pretty quick then.
That or
Because you're not getting a ton of mileage out of these things if you're.
no, but they call it like if you get a glaze on it. So like, say I had like 2 weeks out of it, and like it ran hot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause if you feel the pressure, like the heat off the tire after the race, it's like holy shit.
Yeah.
And the tire gained like a pound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's spinning.
Yeah.
Like
And,
Just the friction,
Friction
and
of the dirt.
Yep.
yeah, and then the heat it will.
And like if you're
so they
spinning the
yeah,
tires,
expand.
your setup's wrong, and you're spinning the tires, then that's even, you
Yeah.
know, that's burning more rubber. And so like after that's all said and done, it cools down, you kind of lose a glaze. There's kind of a glaze on it,
Mm-hmm.
and like I grind my tires, so I get all that rubber off. But there's sometimes the tires is done. You know what I mean? You go out there, and once it gets heat in it, nothing's gonna happen. You have to like siphon the tires. Like it's a process.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just for the tires alone, you know what I mean? But it's part of the game.
Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot about dirt track racing.
Me too.
Yeah.
You definitely got to come down to the garage one day.
Yeah.
You too.
Come to the garage and then we'll see you at Pencan.
Good old Pencan, Susquehanna, PA,
All right.
Redneck County.
All right, we're gonna finish it with a True Racing. Do you have any sponsors you wanna shout out?
Sure. I'll shout out Urban Electric. That's my employer right now. Sacco's Pizzeria, Italian restaurant. Sacco family's been really good to me. Gourmet Slice, another Sacco. Junkin' Monkey, who's been doing. He actually is a neighbor of mine. Good guy, great business, and Walker Law.
Oh,
You know
nice.
who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to thank them for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to showcase their name.
Sweet.
So.
And where can we check you out?
Facebook,
All right.
maybe a couple YouTube videos if I do well.
Brandon Oleski Racing.
Is
Is that what you look it
Yeah.
up there?
Yeah, there's this kid who does all the GoPro work on. If he's there, he'll put the GoPro in and just have at it.
All right.
But
Sweet.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.